Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm going to teach you what you need to know about Kez. Kez currently has a terrible win rate, but I actually think Kez is a reasonably good character. I think the main thing that Kez has going for him is that the hero's early game damage is straight up insane. It also has some of the best mobility in the game, it's quite sustainable, and so Kez actually has quite a few good traits. I think a big thing about the win rate right now is that the hero is just hard. So hopefully I can simplify Kez for you guys to make sure you can actually sort of understand the hero, and let's get into it. On top of that, go sign up to the gameleap website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Okay, before we get into the replay, because we're going to be watching an Ame carry replay for today's video, and get into why I think Kez is probably best as carry, but can also be played in literally every role. I think Kez can be played 1 through 5, and it's totally viable in any position, due to the hero's massive amount of abilities. So the main thing that you need to understand about Kez, and the big combo I want to show you guys, is Falcon Rush is your best ability. When you activate it, you basically get Phantom Lancer's E, where you can dash at people, and then every time you hit someone, you hit them twice. So it's pretty overpowered, you just double hit people constantly. Another thing to note is that when I switch disciplines, so Falcon Rush is on the first discipline, then when you switch, the Grappling Claw applies an auto attack when you use it on someone. So if you're Falcon Rushed, right, and you hit someone, it double attacks. But also if you're grappling at them, it also does the attack. And so the main way to burst people in the early game is essentially to click Falcon Rush and then to switch disciplines, as the Katana actually also seems to deal more damage during Falcon Rush. So yeah, that's the main thing you need to know. I don't think Ame does it much in the replay. Maybe he just didn't realize, or he just forgot. But it seems to be a big part of the hero, which is to Falcon Rush, switch, because the Grappling Claw, extra auto attack, is a lot of damage. I mean, this is level 7 with no items, and you just burst people down. And so just to look at the early laning stage, as the Ogre Magi is trolling, he does end up playing this game. But the big thing to understand is that at level 1 and level 2, your hero is just straight up overpowered. I really mean that. Kez is insane. I mean, you have 68 damage, 5 armor, 315 movement speed. The only thing that you have really bad of is base strength, which is why I think it might be worth just buying a ton of stats rather than Quelling Blade. You already have pretty high damage, and you do want to fight a lot on this hero. This hero is just a really, really strong fighting hero, and I'm going to talk about that a lot during this replay. I think Ame probably could have played differently, but yeah, you'll notice in this clip here, the big thing is that you can't really get away from Kez in the early levels, and the hero just does a billion damage as he gets feared away, but he still has this giga range Phantom Rush, right? Again, it's very similar to PL's third ability, and you just easily chase people down. Now, also keep in mind, in the laning stage, you generally want to sit on the Katana stance. So you have Katana and you have Sais. Sais are like the daggers. Katana is, of course, the bigger blade. And so the Katana gives you way more damage and better attack range. So when it comes to just last hitting in the lane, it's nice to sit on the Katana. The only problematic thing about this is, if you want to do the combo that I showed before, which is Falcon Rush switch to Katana, you have to be on side, because the switch discipline ability has a 7-point-something second cooldown. It's now 7.6, it goes down per level. So I think it starts at 8, and now that he's level 2, it goes down by 0.2 per level. So when you get to a really high level, you can almost constantly just switch between, which is why this hero is probably best as a carry, so it gets a lot of levels. Or a mid! I think this hero, I mean, it's probably best mid or carry, but honestly, you can play it as a support. It's definitely reasonable. Okay, so probably one of the main things I disagree on with Ame here is that he buys boots. I don't really think you need boots on this hero, just because you're already really, really fast. You're 315 movement speed. And Falcon Rush just gives you gap close, as well as the Grappling Claw, if you eventually scale it. So I don't really think you need boots. I think it's best to just buy damage and a little bit of attack speed. Attack speed is actually less effective when you use Falcon Rush, but it's still effective. It's not by a lot. And as a result, I just think it's worth buying damage. This hero just kills people. And so yeah, if you're going to go treads, you could buy Band of Elven Skin. I think it's really worth if you're buying phase boots, which is a good item on this hero too. You can buy the Blades of Attack, because you already have good armor, right? So I think buying some sort of damage item early on is probably the best way to go, because your attack speed is really low when you use Falcon Rush, because it lowers your base attack time, and you don't really have gap close issues in the lane, nor do you have disengage issues, because your third ability, it does a lot of things. So when you hit people, you have a 17% chance, so it's like Bash, to mark them, which slows them by 10% for 8 seconds, and then when you hit them, if they're marked, it ends the 8-second mark duration, but it stuns them for 0.5 seconds, and you crit them, right? So basically it's a mini stun and a crit when you proc this. On top of that, you can activate the ability to parry auto attacks. So you will block auto attacks, one auto attack, and it applies the mark as well as initially stuns them. So if you block someone's auto attack, they will get stunned for 0.5 seconds. And then if you hit them after, you'll stun them again for 0.5 seconds. So it's a really good ability. It's only a 30 mana. It actually scales down to 0 mana, funny enough, and a 5-second cooldown. So this ability is pretty insane, honestly. At maxed out, really, really good. And yeah, parrying is just crazy. Like right here, he could just parry the Muerta. It would deal damage to her. It would stun her. It is just practical. So yeah, this ability is insane. Now, when you switch over, because this is sort of the next ability, when you switch over, your other E ability is the Kazurai Katana. Basically, when you hit people with the katana, it deals your attack damage per second. And it's a lot, guys. You can't stack it. So it's kind of better if you hit someone once and just let it apply. But basically, at max level, you'll deal 80% of your attack damage over time to someone. Plus, it reduces regen by 35%. It's only health regen, so it's not like, at least it doesn't read like it's lifesteal or healing. It's only health regen, and there's a big difference there. This hero does not counter Morphling, it doesn't counter Huskar, it counters Boots of Bearing 15 HP regen, or Pipe HP regen. Alright, and for the last and final ability, as he skills it up at level 4, by the way, in terms of skill build, I think there's two things you can do. I actually think 111 is pretty good. Falcon Rush doesn't scale that well, honestly. It scales like, it scales okay. I mean, lowering base attack time is nice, but I think going 111 is pretty good because your second ability, if you're in your Psy stance, you get Talon Toss. It's basically a dagger that deals damage and silences. It also can crit off the marked, which I learned recently. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, basically it's a nuke silence. So it's good for going on characters that, well, you need to silence, like Muerta. Then your other stance, we're going to see it here as he switches over when he gets gone on. So if you get gone on, you can switch to the Grappling Claw, and you can use this on heroes, or trees, or creeps. And so you can grapple away. Now, if you damage something with it, if you damage a creep with it, you heal for 100% of your attack, right? Which is kind of insane. That's a lot. And then if you use it on a hero, you get a flat extra bonus. So you get up to 200. 200 on a 6-second cooldown at max, guys. That's a lot of healing. It's also a slow, right? So this ability is just pretty damn good, especially when you max out the W. You get this really low cooldown 6-second silence for 2.5 seconds. And you also get the Grappling Claw, which allows you to heal a lot, especially when farming or in fights, and also disengage, right? And we'll see that come into play later on. He's going to live a gank due to the Grappling Claw. All right, now finally, we're going to see the power of Kez, which is the Falcon Rush plus the Katana combo and the Grappling Claw combo. So the Bounty Hunter on the enemy team ends up ganking the lane. And in a moment from now, he's going to turn on him. So yeah, clip goes on, Bounty Hunter goes in, and you'll see turns on the Falcon Rush. The Bounty Hunter has no clue that he's about to get solo killed. And like, what is this damage? Eventually he uses the Grappling Claw because he immediately switched to the Katana stance and finishes him off. You can use the Grappling Claw towards the end of the Falcon Rush. The main thing is you want to use it in between attacks. Just to go back quickly, right, if you use it in between attacks, it will give you a bit of extra damage because you won't have to spend even the slight bit of time that it takes to Phantom Rush or like Falcon Rush up to the enemy. So like, yeah, like right here, he could have used it because it is faster than using the like movement speed of Falcon Rush, even though the Falcon Rush is really fast. And this clip keeps going. They chase, but they don't realize that, yeah, this Falcon Rush ability is a low cooldown and just chases down the Terrorblade. Just one ability, didn't even click the dagger, didn't even click the bonus damage dagger. And then I don't know why at the end he decided to use the slashes here. This slash ability, he ends up using it here. This slash ability, maybe it's because he used Switch Discipline. I think he kind of accidentally switched Discipline when he probably shouldn't have. I mean, I guess it gave him the Grappling Claw. Did nuke the guy down. So this ability is kind of weird. Basically, it shoots 2 auto attacks in front of you and it slows. It's not a long duration slow. I don't think this ability is very good. Basically, the whole point of the hero, as far as I'm concerned, is Falcon Rush. This is the hero. I think every other ability is secondary, so if there's anything you're going to do on Kez, just spam Falcon Rush and try to fight people. Okay, now for your ultis. So you have 2 ultis. They do share cooldowns, like all the other abilities. All the abilities share cooldowns. But basically, the first one is Raptor Dance. Essentially, you channel it, and when you're channeling it, you're spell immune, right? Completely. You can't get stunned besides by like grip and hookshot, like the the BKB piercing spells, so those kind of counter this ability. It's only a 1 second channel duration, it's really not a big window. And then after he does that, he spins and he slashes everyone around, and he heals from the slashes. So it's 75 damage per slash and 4% of their max health. It's not that much damage. The main point of Raptor Dance is a turn ability. The reason why is because it gives you spell immunity, so you can dodge abilities, right? You can dodge the damage of nukes, you can dodge stuns, right, that you see coming, you can dodge Deadshot, and it gives you a strong dispel at the end, so you can dispel things with it as well. Plus, it heals you, right, for the people that you slash. And so you'll see here, he's affected by Reflection, a Blood Grenade, and it doesn't dispel it when you use it for this ability, it dispels it after. But it will get rid of all the things on him, and it heals him for quite a bit because the slash hit the Terrorblade. And so that ability is kind of a good turn ability. Both of his abilities are very good to use late into fights, but the other one you can use early into fights too. We'll get into that later, as it is actually probably better. The other one is better, but he used this one first. All right, now for items, actually this clip's funny. He gets a DD. Dude, like, what is this? Terrorblade is like one of the highest armor heroes in the game. Just I mean, yes, he has a DD, but come on. Like, what? I don't know. Solo killing, I mean, he has a 3 level advantage on that guy. He is 7-1, like, don't get me wrong, he's way ahead. But I don't even think his items are very good for killing with Falcon Rush. What I mean by that is, I think if you want to fight on this hero, items that will be way more potent are things like Falcon Blade, I think is really good, because this hero has incredibly low HP. It wants the damage, it needs mana regen as it casts a lot of active abilities that cost mana. And so I think Falcon Blade into Maelstrom as like a mix between farming and fighting is probably better. That's a build that a lot of heroes do in order to farm, or some do. As, oh, goes in for the silence. Is he gonna kill her? Man, this hero is the solo kill king. But yeah, I think Falcon Blade as an early fighting item, just because the items that you get from Falcon Blade in the lane are fantastic. Blades of Attack, synergy with the Falcon Rush, Fluffy Hat so you can all in, and then mana regen from Sage's Mask. It's kind of perfect for the hero. So I think that is probably the item I believe in the most for this hero. Kind of like a gyrocopter where you're a fighting carry that casts a lot of active abilities. I see a lot of similarities there. This clip is like a really bad example of diving. People are going to be really tempted to dive on Kez. And to be fair, the hero is good at diving, but I don't know. He like doesn't click Falcon Rush. He does use his second ulti, which I'm going to cover now. It's really, really bizarre, but he does end up living here. So let's first of all cover the ulti. So he grappling claws in, switches to the other stance, and uses the ult. So it's called Raven's Veil. By the way, his ultis are like really low cooldown, so you should just spam them. 40-second cooldown. This ability, when you click it, it dispels you. It gives you bonus movement speed and invis. So essentially, it's really good at disengaging for those reasons, right? Because you're dispelling, movement speed, invis. Then from there, it shoots this dust cloud, and that reduces the vision of enemies. So you'll see Puck gets a vision decrease. Now, how it works is when you initially get hit by it, you basically can't see anything. And then as the ability fades, or the longer it's on you, the more you can see. So the initial usage of the dust cloud, like, it's really hard for people to see it. I don't know why in replays it doesn't really show it very well, but basically, yeah, the initial hit of the dust cloud, people really cannot see, and then a couple of seconds after, they can see almost the entire screen, right? So that's how the ability works. So it's really good for disengaging because, well, people can't see, you get to go invis, and you get to go faster. Now, he barely ends up getting out here as he pops his wand, and that auto attack from the Puck would have killed him, but he parries, so it blocks it, which stuns both of them. He blocks them where to auto attack as well, and he still looks dead. It's like a Puck, but he can grappling claw away. And so, yeah, he blocked. Oh, that was so close. The last 2 autos, another grappling claw to get out. I mean, that was insane. By the way, in terms of skill build, I agree with this. You just max the Q, and then you max the W next. I think that there's some logic, honestly, in maxing W, just because of how good Grappling Claw is when maxed out. Flat 200 heal, 6-second cooldown, 1000 cast range. I mean, this ability's kiting potential when maxed is absurd. And again, I can see this paired very well with some early fighting items. I could even see angles where people are going to go like Falcon Blade into another fighting item. If you're off lane, you could go Falcon Blade into something like, I don't know, Vessel. That's probably not the best build, but I'm just thinking about like the smaller items that give HP, give skirmish potential in the early game. Upcoming here is one of the cooler clips we're going to see. He actually uses the vision reduction and the silence from his Talon toss to finish off the Terrorblade, because Terrorblade tends to be really hard to solo kill due to Sunder. But he goes in, naturally starting with a Falcon Rush. Can't switch to the Katana immediately, unfortunately, but I think you do want to. I say that, but in order to kill this Terrorblade, how he executes it is really, really cool. So he drops the silence so that there's no Sunder. It's pretty long, 2.5 seconds. The double hits are really coming into play. And then right as the Sunder's about to come out, he drops the Raven's Veil, which makes him go invis, so the Terrorblade can't find the hit. It also applies, so when you use this ability, it applies the parry on them, or the parry chance. So next time you hit them, it will mini-stun them. And he waits for the silence to come back up in the invis duration, and then yeah, you can crit off the dagger, which is really weird. But sure, 370 damage nuke. That's not bad. So one thing about this Echo Slash ability is that it does seem to be very good for killing waves. So you'll notice here, he walks up, clicks Q, and it does kill the wave with one auto attack, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, you can push out waves really, really far on this hero because Grappling Claw is just so damn good at disengaging. Okay, a couple of other things. For skill build, he is actually skipping his 10 talent. I think both of them are like fine, but they're not that good. I definitely agree with the decision to skip it. I think it's more reasonable to just skill abilities. Mana regen can be nice, but with Battle Fury or like Falcon Blade, you should be fine. Now, in this upcoming fight, I just want to quickly mention why I think going something like Falcon Blade Maelstrom into BKB with an earlier BKB timing is probably better. It's kind of clips like this that are the issue where, you know, he's going in, he's going to look to finish off the Terrorblade, does get him a lot of burst damage, but you're sort of just susceptible to getting bursted by magic damage. And this game, it's a little hard. He's against the leash from Puck, so he can't use the Grappling Claw defensively because he's getting leashed, and the invis isn't really going to be nearly as effective when you're getting coiled. It's just kind of hard to get away. At level 15, you have the obvious talent choice of Falcon Rush duration, right? This is an absolute no-brainer. At level 20, I mean, honestly, both of them are really good. Kazurai, Katana damage per second is pretty nice. However, I think, again, the Falcon Rush evasion, kind of just a no-brainer. I mean, 50% evasion, and it's going to be for 9 seconds with the 15 talent. I mean, that is absurd. So you get a magic resist at 10, evasion at 20, so you're resistant to basically all damage. I mean, at that point, obviously magic damage is still going to kill you, but with BKB, you can actually go in at level 20, and it allows this hero to scale very well. The only thing to note that might be the biggest issue for this hero that I'm honestly shocked is even in the game, Falcon Rush is dispellable. Now, this might be the biggest issue with the hero conceptually, because I think Kez without Falcon Rush is pretty much useless. Yes, you can Grappling Claw on people, but you're not double hitting them. So I just don't think you're going to do enough damage typically. So I don't know, you kind of have to BKB when you go in. If you're against something like Shadow Demon, good luck. You basically can't go in first. You need to wait for him to use it, because I really do believe if you're playing carry and this gets dispelled, or you get like Yuled or nullified and you're not BKB'd, I mean, you're kind of, yeah, you're just kind of out of the fight. So in the late game, it seems like the usage of the other ultimate, he actually switches here. So he starts with the Falcon Rush, right? Because that's your main damage ability. Then he drops the ult to reset his health. And I didn't think he was going to do that much, but man, was I wrong. I was like, do they have a mech? I mean, they have a pipe, but no, it just heals for that much. So it seems like in the late game, you want to switch over to Raptor's Dance because it deals max health as damage, right? So the higher health they are, the more you're going to heal because you get 100% of that damage back as healing. So what's really nice too is that at level 18, it's only a 24-second cooldown. So there's a good chance you can get 2 of them off, right? Which is really, really nice as they just man up and take down the Luna here. Execution, pretty straightforward, just clicking Falcon Dance. Falcon Rush. I can't get the ability straight, forgive me, guys. He's just clicking the Falcon Rush off cooldown. Gets onto the Terrorblade, again, clicking the Q. Sunder comes out, but at this point, the chase potential from Kez is straight up insane, and they get the job done. So now he is ridiculously tanky. I will say, I think it's a little weird to buy Butterfly. I mean, yes, the agility is great, the damage is great, the attack speed with Falcon Rush is great, so I get it. I think the evasion is a little bit in vain, only because you already have Falcon Rush evasion. Upcoming here, he's going to chop down this Terrorblade. I mean, really, Kez in the late game, he cooks. Like, the fact that you just hit twice for every single attack is pretty nuts. With any stun, the grappling hook kind of missed his ulti there, so he's going to have to kite out. Yeah, and you really have to play around the Falcon Rush cooldown. When it's down, you sort of need to kite out, especially in the late game when this evasion is going to be the main way you stay alive, right? With the 20 talent, you super need to kite out when your Q is coming on cooldown. It's only, I think, what, a 5-second window, which is really not big at all, but you should be careful in that window, like manning up. So this upcoming teamfight is almost the perfect example of how to teamfight with Kez. It's super impressive. So fight breaks out. Naturally, you're going to want to use your Falcon Rush, to no one's surprise. He is frontlining a little bit here, which, I mean, I think Kez is like an okay frontliner, especially once you have Satanic. You can really turn things around. Pops the Manta to get rid of the Gleipnir. The Rubik initiates, goes in with the grappling hook, activates the Falcon Rush. And you'll see, with this evasion from the Butterfly, if the Luna doesn't have an MKB, he's not going to die. And during this duration, the BKB Falcon Rush duration, you're essentially invincible. Like, truly. I mean, he's taking no damage. The Luna really can't right-click him for very much. But when the Falcon Rush is about to end, and so is the BKB, he uses a grappling hook to disengage. This is just really good decision-making. Now, I thought, honestly, when I was watching this, I thought he was going to be able to turn. He pings Falcon Rush. It's like, I can go back in. Because of that evasion, you can man up to the Luna. And I thought he'd be able to get the job done here, but he goes in and gets rooted. And he gets pushed away by something. The Falcon. I mean, the Pike. Because he would have been able to click, if he switches over, he could have clicked the lifesteal ability, which is what he tries to do here. Tries to move forward and get it off, but the radius is just not big enough. Doesn't get the hits with the Satanic. Because he would have full healed and easily could have carried the fight there. So nice Pike usage from the Luna, unfortunately. Maybe he misplayed a little, could have tried to Falcon Rush back to them. But nonetheless, a really strong fight and a good execution of Kez. And finally, at level 25, guys, you take the Shoto Sai Mark Critical Strike. It just lets you crit people from time to time, and the other ability you just don't use in team fights. In terms of items as well, in the late game, you can easily replace your boots. This hero, again, is naturally fast, and you have plenty of mobility innately, so it's good to eventually replace it. I mean, he buys a Scotty. I think that's fine. You can buy Refresher, so you have double BKB. You can buy just any right-click item, Scotty. I feel like Daedalus is fine. I'm a little surprised this isn't a Daedalus. I suppose he just feels that he needs the front line, which is like sort of reasonable. But yeah, he goes for the Scotty. He's against the Luna. He's against Terrorblade. You know, you're going to get quite a bit of value as, okay, Satanic goes off. Needs to get the Falcon Rush off. Goes down. All right, the last things to mention with Kez, he does have an Ags and he does have a Shard. So the Ags, basically what it does is essentially when you cast any weapon ability, it refreshes the cooldown of Switch Discipline, so you can use Switch Discipline more. And the first ability you cast doesn't put the alternate weapon ability on cooldown. So basically you can kind of just like spam your abilities a lot more. So Ag's Blessing late game is definitely good. I wouldn't buy it early on. I saw some people doing that. I don't think it's good. Yeah, and then the Shard, Kez may activate the ability, so he can activate his Katana ability to impale the target with his attack, briefly stunning himself and the target in place. The target debuff bursts, removing it and causing the attack to deal bonus damage based on the stack amount. So, yeah, essentially you just get to like impale someone and then they take damage. On top of that, your Shoto Sai, if you're in the other form, gives 10 movement speed and 10 movement speed per marked enemy, which is like good with your Cloud ultimate. Kind of weird. Again, another one, you don't really buy it. So the Ags and the Shard, generally you can ignore them. All right, but that's going to be all for Kez. I don't think Kez is some extremely strong hero. I wouldn't really suggest playing it in ranked. In fact, I would say don't play it in ranked until you have a bunch of games on this hero. I think it's very difficult. I think there's a lot of optimization to be done on Kez, and I don't think he's the best from what I've seen. I think people are heavily undervaluing this hero right now because it's just hard. And the item build is not figured out. And for like support heroes, like when Ringmaster comes out, he's just strong because his abilities are inherently good. But with Kez, you need to buy the right items to enable his kit. So I think there's a lot going wrong with Kez's win rate, mainly because people don't know what they're doing and not because the hero is completely unplayable, although I don't think it's the best. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.